What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. This video, I want to talk about 2020. I want to talk about this new YouTube we are now going to start experiencing now that it is January 1st. I probably said it in the other videos, but let me also say it here. Happy New Year to all of you. Happy 2020 and welcoming in the new year. Hopefully, you guys had an awesome New Year's Eve. Hopefully, you guys have an awesome day. Today, we have other videos on the channel. This is just one, not even so much of like an analysis of this. I do want to talk about it just a little bit, the whole children's content, and talk about what we could see in 2020. I know you could say that I'm technically late to the party. I wanted to wait till January 1st to have this video go up just to kind of see okay, this is it. Now let's see what's gonna happen. And I have nothing really to talk about in terms of what I've seen, but I do want to talk about what maybe we could see in 2020. I also want to talk about how it affects, if it affects at all, our channel. So obviously this is the day. This is the day that COPPA starts to basically crack down on YouTube. And if you don't have the whole thing switched to made for kids or not made for kids, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Today is the day. And today is the day that, again, I'm recording this before today, right? So I don't know what's happened starting today, but we are going to start seeing some interesting things, I feel like. There's going to be family channels that are cracked down on. We'll have to see what actually happens. I'm going to be really, really interested to see what happens to these channels. Not in a good way. I mean, I don't watch channels not necessarily made for kids. There's one, Lad Baby. My fiance and I had we sometimes watch them, like every weekend. We catch up on the videos. That one, they do mention the whole share with your friends thing, and they're definitely talking to children a whole lot more than they probably should, and we'll see what happens to them. But that's a prime example. I watched the Tim Tracker. I absolutely love both of those two. Those are awesome people. That's an awesome channel. Disney related channel, like Disneyland, Disney World. They just had a baby, and I'm kind of scared for them as well, because they're already one of those borderline channels that are talking to, they're talking mainly to parents, but you can argue, or YouTube or COPPA can argue, like, hey, well, they show a lot of rides, they show a lot of foods, they show a lot of Disney characters, and those are specific things, especially those Disney characters are specific things that fall under the new rules. So, like, if you have that, you can argue it's made for kids. So it's scary is what I'm basically trying to say. In terms of, like, my viewership of other channels, those are really the only two I can think of that would probably fall in that middling category, and I'm going to be really interested to see what actually happens to them and what happens in the larger picture to YouTubers that do this. I don't watch, family vlogs really beyond Tim Tracker. I don't watch channels that are like kids running it, or they're like the main star and their parents run it. I don't watch them, and I'm not really interested in ever watching them, but it's going to suck, and we're going to have to see, today's the day, and what's actually going to happen. Are their views going to massively drop? We know advertisement revenue is going to drop, but with all the other stuff, the whole, they're not going to allow likes and dislikes, they're not going to allow comments, stuff like that, how does YouTube's algorithm work with that? Like, are they just going to completely die out? Because if you can't leave likes and dislikes, if you can't leave comments, there's no way of basically promoting your video to YouTube in terms of when it's out and saying, like, hey, people like this. Look at the engagement. Look at the likes. Look at the even if there's a lot of dislikes, it's still engagement. Look, so many people are commenting. The only thing left is watch time, and even that, how much are they? I don't even think they're gonna push, and I think they even said that they're not gonna push children's content on YouTube. So we know the advertisement thing is gonna drop 80-90% for some of these channels, but in terms of viewership too, that's gonna be the big, because we're not always gonna know how much these people made before and after. They're not always gonna tell us. In fact, very few would even tell us. But one of the main things we're gonna be able to see is the viewership. Is the views gonna be cut in half? Is the views gonna be down like 75%? Like, what's gonna happen because of that engagement? It's really scary. It's really stupid. My whole opinion on it is that it's dumb. Is that YouTube did have a thing in place already. The whole, if you're under 13, you can't be on YouTube. You have to be 13, or you have to have your parents' permission in order to make a YouTube account. The problem is obviously what YouTube then went on and spoke about is that it's the #1 platform for kids, and kids are here, and look, advertisers, we are the #1 place for children. It's like, why would you say, like, I get why you said it, because you wanted those advertisers, but at the same time, they set themselves up to get destroyed like this, and now we have to pay the price. So, I think 2020 is going to be really, really interesting. I truly don't think, now I've watched experts, analysts, lawyers talk about this. Also, the whole 42,000 thing, I believe the newest thing is that it's not actually $42,000 a video. It's a percentage of how much that video would make in advertisement revenue. So at least if you make a mistake, or if YouTube, or if it's not really YouTube, if COPPA declares that you are a children's video, even though you said you're not, and you fight them but then you lose, you're not paying $42,000 for one video. I believe it's just a percentage of what you would make from that video. So that is a whole lot tamer than what we originally thought. Hopefully that is it. I mean, as of when I'm recording this, I'm pretty sure that's the rule. Maybe that's been changed or altered. We'll have to see. And I know that people are trying to fight back, and even laws, people are even talking to them as well, to COPPA themselves, saying like, hey, we need to kind of amend or change some of the stuff that you guys are doing. And so I get things are happening, and hopefully 2020 can bring that. Hopefully 2020 can bring a little bit of a lowering of their bar, right, and an understanding of like, okay, this is how things work. This is how it's going to affect people, so we're going to have to stop that. And hopefully 2020 brings that. In terms of what it does, and that I say all that because, like, again, like, I have watched these videos. I have watched lawyers. I have watched YouTube experts. And I know they've said, like, this is going to affect everybody. It can affect gaming channels like ours. So but in terms of me, so if you guys have now come because you are a community member of podcast now, you've been with us for a little bit, you've been with us for a long time, how does it affect us? Well, truly, in terms of everything I've read, again, I've seen people say, and I hear them. I'm not ignorant to them. I've seen them say, like, this is going to be huge ramifications across the board. As of right now, I don't know how big that's going to be for us. I don't think it's going to be big at all for us. We cover a lot of, like, mature topics. Like, we talk, and I've always, since day one, I know probably a lot of people say this, but this is just me saying it. Ever since I started this channel, 5 years ago, 5 years in March when I started this channel, I always intended, and I was 18 at the time I did that, I always intended to be talking to the age that I was. That I'm talking to 18-year-olds, or I'm talking to older than 18-year-olds, but I've never assumed or imagined that I was talking to somebody, I guess you could say, under 13. I've never assumed that. For the past 5 years, every time I've talked, I've kind of always assumed in my head. I don't even picture people. If you want an insight of how I do this, and when I record, I don't really picture anybody. I just look at my computer screen and see the like audio, like the bumps in sound. That's all I see. I mean, I know that I'm talking to you guys, like I can envision it, but I don't really envision it. But the bottom line is, I never picture that I'm talking to somebody like a child. Okay, and a lot of the topics that Tyler and I talk about on this channel, actually all of them, are for people like 13 and older. And in terms of video content, yeah, we do this stuff with Amelia. She really likes to do that, and I love to do it with her. We're going to probably have to change that. I don't want that to mess anything up, so we'll see what happens with that. I know there's not that many people that are even interested in that, but that is just something. And like the video or gaming stuff, video games, that's the toughest thing, right? Is you have to wonder which games kind of qualify. Obviously, Minecraft could be one of them, but we don't really do Minecraft. If Minecraft turns out to be safe, I'd love to do a community event with Minecraft. That, if you're asking me, like, what are you holding off on, or what are you, like, afraid of for, like, because of this whole thing, is like, yeah, when I'm recording this, crossplay for Minecraft is a thing now, so, like, I want to do a community event. I want to play with as many of you guys as possible. Minecraft is a perfect thing because, obviously, how many copies it sold, how many people own the game, and the fact that it's on all of these systems, very, very, I think it could be a really cool event for us to play with you, but I'm I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not going to do it until we find out what are happening to these Minecraft channels, right? Is Minecraft deemed children's stuff? So that's something. Maybe like Kingdom Hearts could be a little, but like they're not all Disney characters, and there's violence, and there's Heartless, and there's and all these, the organization, all this stuff. It's like, well, you could argue, but not real. And Kingdom Hearts is a big part of our channel, but the bottom line is it's not that much. Like, there's only a select few things I can even think of that I could even see on their side saying, well, that could be a children's stuff. So again, if you're worried about us, which I doubt that many people are, but if you are, thank you or I appreciate your worry. I think we're gonna be okay. I truly do. And if anything, this could be like taking a positive from a negative, and I don't want to take positives from people getting like shut down or leaving, because that just sucks, and that's people's livelihoods and people's entire careers gone, and that's awful. I would fight for them. I will fight for them if there's any chance to. There's obviously the petition, which I've signed and all that stuff, but I hope things get fixed. in terms of 2020. I hope they are able to continue their content, and I hope that the algorithm doesn't penalize things that are kind of like in between that gray area, because legally you can be in the gray area. You can appeal to kids but also be made for adults. That is a legal thing in COPPA's like guidelines, but YouTube doesn't really say that in their stuff. They kind of hid that part from it like it doesn't really exist, but that's a real thing. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, but I think we're going to be okay. I think podcasts now, in terms of what we are, we've never really blended the line between children and not. I have seen people in comments and stuff say that they're children, sometimes in giveaways. Sometimes back in the day, we would see people say, hey, I'm 11, I'm 12 years old. I don't want to see that anymore. And if you are, by accident, a under 13-year-old watching, I mean, that's fine. Just I would say, and I don't even know how this works, like, don't say it in the videos. Don't put it in the comments, stuff like that. Technically, I don't know if you're not supposed to be able to watch this kind of stuff, unless, of course, you have parents' permission. But I really don't think it's going to affect us all that much. I think most of our audience, even looking at our analytics, which I did a couple days ago just for fun, I think 5% of our viewers are 13 to 18. YouTube doesn't obviously count under 13 because technically, quote unquote, like, they don't exist. They're not actually here, right? But our channel is mainly for 18-year-olds to like 35-year-olds. That makes up almost 70% of our entire channel's audience is 18 to like 35. So we are basically what I've always said we are. We're my age group. I'm 23, but I was 18 when I started this channel. So we are where I thought we were. And again, like 5% is 13 to 18. So not all that much. And I believe that. Now, how many people are under 13 that maybe say they're 13? I don't know. I mean, it can't be. I really don't think it's that high of percentage. So I really do think we are hitting the 18 to say 40 demographic, which is awesome. And hopefully that keeps us very, very safe, because YouTube can even say to us, hey, this video, we could say, well, like, look at the stuff. Like 5% of people are under the age of 18. So how many do you think are under the age of 13? Like, clearly we don't make videos for people that young. So I think we're in the clear. Don't worry about us. Worry about some of the other channels that I had mentioned. And let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in 2020? Are you worried just in general for YouTube? What do you think this is going to do to YouTube? Is there any channels that you like that you think are going to get affected by this? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. Videos constantly throughout this week, even though it has been New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Again, Happy New Year's to everybody. Kicking off an amazing 2020. It's going to be a fantastic year for us here at Podcast Now. I hope to see you guys on future videos.